Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Cubs Line Podcast. I'm Ryan Dunleavy,
And I'm Ron Zielinski.
and welcome to another episode. And today we are only 3 days away from opening day. PCA just signed a monster extension. Roster moves have been made. We got a big show for you guys today, and we're very excited.
Yeah, as we were about to record, PCA extension notification came in. How about that? Finally, you're able to lock a guy down. I don't know if they've released the full contract yet, but if my guess is it's like one of those like 8 or 9 year, since they said long term, I'm guessing it's one of those 8 or 9 year, like 270, something like that. But huge for them. Opening day coming up. So this is our second to last show before we get into the daily shows again. Going to do one probably Wednesday. Um, I'll be in Florida during this opening weekend, so can't attend any of the games, but I'll be doing shows from there. So yeah, got a fun week ahead of us here.
Yeah, chance I'll be at the game on Sunday, but we'll see how it all shakes out. Especially, I'm very excited. I'll be seeing the Cubs in 2 weeks in Tampa Bay's. I'll be seeing the Rays opener and that game too. So I'm excited to see that. See the Cubbies on the road. So first off, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to our couple off-season episodes. We tried to upload as much as possible with the busy off-season and not that much to talk about at certain times. I know spring training isn't the most entertaining thing to talk about, obviously, but I want to thank you guys for bearing with us this offseason. And I also want to thank Cayman Franklin and Cade Snell for our player interviews. Meant a lot. Cade Snell had one heck of a spring. He hit a ball 450 in the spring breakout game. I believe he hit 3 home runs this spring and opened a lot of eyes. And I just want to give him a shout out for that. Cayman Franklin didn't appear in any of the games, but definitely been putting in that work and looking forward to another good season. Another guy, King Kepley, shout out him, follower on Instagram. He had another big spring, opened a lot of eyes. And another guy, Instagram follower, Owen Ayers, he hit a home run for Team Italy in the game versus the Cubs, which was kind of funny. And he also had a great spring breakout game with a home run. And those four guys opened a lot of eyes this spring. And thank you for supporting the podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys. It really means a lot because it's not like we're interviewing the superstars, but these guys could be opening eyes in a couple years, and to be able to say like we interviewed them right out of the draft and right out of their even Martinez Gomez, he's starting to really open eyes too. So yeah, can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, and to the players. Thank you guys so much. Really means a lot, and good luck to you guys.
Yeah, also shout out our first couple interviews, Luis Martinez Gomez. Closed out the spring breakout game. His stuff looks nasty. They were talking about a splitter on Marquee. He's opening a lot of eyes too, and just talking to these guys, a very cool opportunity. Also, want to give a shout out to Alex Cohn, the voice of the Chicago Cubs, and just shout out to all of the interviews. We're gonna try and get as many as possible, and we are so pumped for the 2026 baseball season. So with that, let's get right into it. PCA extension. About to film the show. It's 10:38 right now, Monday night. I believe it was around 10 o'clock when the notification PCA is going to sign a monster deal with the Cubs. What does that mean? I feel like this is the Cubs guy. I feel like they've been wanting to do this for a while, and he's the face of the Chicago Cubs for the next 8 to 9 years.
Yeah, we really talked about it this offseason, and even in the episode where, when the Cubs lost game five to Milwaukee, we kind of did like an offseason preview, and we talked about like you got to lock some guys up because, now that you're starting to play good baseball and you're going to contend every year, you can't just start giving guys away. So for them to be able to lock him up, obviously he's still got a lot to improve at the plate, but his fielding is, it's out of this world. So this means a lot to Cub fans because finally they make one of those moves that you see the Dodgers, the Mets, teams like that doing. So finally they're up there, spending the money to get a superstar who, could very well be on the levels of the guys who have had the impact of the city: Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, other sports, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, like. I would not be shocked if PCA is the new, again, Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, Patrick Kane. So, yeah, this is huge.
I know we didn't get to talk about it, but it was so cool seeing guys like Connor Bedard, Caleb Williams, PCA, Modest Bazellus, like all going out to support each other. Like they all went to a Bulls game to support Modest. They all went to a Hawks game to support Connor. a bunch of the Cubs, Blackhawks guys all went to support Caleb, and I'm sure that we'll see Bedard, Modest, Caleb at a bunch of Cubs games, and just seeing that four and the young Chicago sports superstars come together is just so cool to see.
Yeah, I mean the city's really coming alive again in the sports world.
Yeah, so safe to say PCA is the Cubs guy for a while, and I'm pumped up. See, I got you can't really see it, but I got the PCA USA shirt on. I had to cop one. I mean, if he plays the way he did in the WBC, I think he's gonna have a great season.
We're gonna be set, yeah.
Now talking about the WBC, I don't know. I have some mixed feelings about it. I know USA couldn't pull it out, so it is kind of a bias to me. But personally, I thought it was kind of a joke at times, but other times I thought it was awesome. Like seeing guys signing autographs in the middle of the game, that kind of fed me up a little bit. And seeing guys opt out, not pitch for their country, fed me up a little bit. But like seeing Palencia tear up before the last out of the World Baseball Classic like that, it's when you know it's real. Seeing guys try, give it their all, that's when you know it's real. Like guys from just shout out Team Italy, like not a lot of big name players on that team. They just played hard nosed baseball.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Francisco Cervelli too. Really put like I mean, he really wants to build the Italy baseball, program, and just the whole country of youth baseball up. So credit to him for putting together a really good club. So, um, yeah, I mean, talking about the U.S., like we said it on our show right before the tournament. We said if you don't win this one, like there's just no excuse not to win. After that Italy game, I know they came back and almost won. They had the tying run at the plate. Aaron Judge, thank you very much. That to see the Dominicans and the Venezuelans and all them celebrating, running out of the dugout after every home run, they had fun and they cared and they were playing for their country. Seemed like the Americans didn't care. I know, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Bobby Witt, but I could be wrong. Who was like, everybody said we didn't care, but we probably cared the most. Like, give me a break. Like, that's not true. But yeah, the championship game, like to not even they had what 3 hits the whole night, 2 hits the whole night, and yeah, I mean the Harper home run was unbelievable. I was going crazy, and then a half an inning later, here's where I have some questions. So first of all, I'll ask your opinion. I mean, I think Mark DeRosa is an absolute joke, which sucks, but like he's an awful manager.
Mark DeRosa, I love him on MLB Network. I love listening to him and spread the game, talk baseball. He was a great player, a great personality, not a great manager. Not
No,
at all.
no, not at all. And I understand that the manager can't give you more than 3 hits in a game, which again, I'm not putting it all on DeRosa because
Mason Miller in the last, like I feel like that's a gimme.
it was unbelievable. But like, where was Aaron Judge the whole tournament? Like he grounded into a double play against a kid my age, like which is unbelievable to think about. But um, yeah. So here's where it kind of gets confusing. Is like the Padres said Miller couldn't go unless it's a safe situation, I believe, or they said
Cubs
he
have
was.
the same for Palencia.
Cubs to the same for Palencia, but like, there's got to be a point where you're like, I need an inning. You know what I mean? Like, this
Yeah,
isn't like, it's not like a fun tournament. Like, it's not like an all-star tournament.
for
Like,
some
it's the World
people,
Baseball. For some people, they didn't care, but for the Venezuelans and like to see that one video of that like the old guy in Venezuela watching on that like small little bubble TV and like almost crying when they won, like that's what the World Baseball Classic should mean to people. And for you to go out and put in, um, it was Nathan Miller, was it in the ninth to put him in, like
it
put
was Garrett Whitlock over Mason Miller. I understand where he's coming
or not
from.
Nathan Miller, yeah,
Whitlock
yeah,
Whitlock hasn't given up a run all tournament, but I mean Mason Miller's the best relief pitcher in baseball in my opinion. I think you got to go him there no matter what, and you kind of got to have that. Like I think Mason Miller had the attitude too, like give me the ball, I want it,
yeah,
I want to pitch for my country because he took off the silver medal as soon as he got it.
yeah,
That's definitely saying something.
yeah. I don't know why I said Nathan Miller, but to not put Mason Miller in the game, like you need an inning. You just tied the game up, a 2-run shot. Your offense has been dead the whole night. put Mason Miller in, get it to the bottom of the ninth, where you now have all the momentum. Palencia coming in, who probably, I don't know if he would have pitched, obviously, because it wasn't a safe situation, but like, it gets to a point where it's like, no, I want to win. Like, he's like, oh, we were respecting the Padres. Respect your country and try to win the damn game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think he should have pitched Mason Miller. Just the ninth, though. Like, not he shouldn't have like gave him 2 innings. Like, just the ninth, 3 outs, and then go deeper into your bullpen. But I thought that was kind of a terrible play on his part. Now the stolen base safe call in the ninth, pretty. mm, I don't know if that was call from Vegas, but um yeah, that was pretty bad. But to put up 3 hits and not put your ace or your closer in there in the ninth, very questionable all tournament from DeRosa for him to be like, yeah, we advanced when they didn't, and then go out and lose and just get demolished by Italy. It's kind of a joke. So I know that was a long kind of yap session, but I thought U.S. just completely failed everybody this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better. Just some takeaways from me before we get back talking to our Cubbies. I think they need to get a legit manager for for the 2028 Olympics, I believe what it will be.
Yeah, 28. Yeah.
Yep. So I think you got to get a legit manager like Dave Roberts, Craig Counsell. I mean, the list can go on and on. I understand how like Yadier Molina, Pujols, Cervelli, like they were all managers, but I think you got to get someone other than an MLB Network analyst who doesn't know when his team is going to be eliminated or not. So
That's the thing. Like another thing to add is like he knows the game. Like DeRosa knows baseball, right? He knows the game. But it's a lot different from like knowing the game and being an analyst to being a manager.
100%. I mean, that's gut decisions that you have to make. So that's just my takeaway. So let's get back talking Cubbies. As much fun as we had talking about the WBC. Congrats to our guy Danny P on bringing it home for Team Venezuela. Hopefully we could see USA bring it home next time. But great showing from Alex Bregman and Pete Crow-Armstrong and Matthew Boyd. So Ryan, I mean, what were your overall takeaways from Cub spring training? I know I got a couple, but I'll let you go first.
Well, to start off on the positive note, I mean, obviously the big name guys, Bregman had a solid spring training. Like Triantos wasn't terrible at all. Um, I mean, even Ben Cowles, he had 182, but he had a couple good ABs. But um, the main thing I want to talk about is the starting pitching. Um, and mainly Jamison Tyone. So right before spring, um, there was a video of Bregman hitting a homer off of him, and everyone was giving Tyone shit, but like it's a joke, like it's funny, like your new teammate hits a homer off of you, like it wasn't really that big of a deal. And he comes out with this tweet like, "P.S. to all my haters, I'm not in midseason form, all this BS," and that just pissed me off because like it's a joke, dude. Like, take a joke. I didn't think Tyon was you know, a guy like that, but I'm like, dude, take a joke. It's not the end of the world. Whatever. Bregman hit a homer off of you, a really good hitter. So then we get into spring training, and start after start, he was, giving up 5 or 6 runs, giving up a bunch of bombs. The Sox game, I think he gave up like 7 runs or something like that.
Reds game was pretty bad too. I remember that was an
Reds
MLB
game was
Network.
brutal. We were up like 5-0, and then the next thing I know it was like 9-5. But with Tyone, just start after start, like the mindset for me, um, excuse me, the White Sox game was like, all right, whatever, it's February, it's the first game, he'll be completely fine. Then it happened again, then it happened again, then it happened again, and happened again, and kept going on. So I don't like to be concerned over spring training, but definitely a little worried about him. Going into the season, obviously you can pick up some steam, and as the season goes on, be good. But yeah, with him, little concerned about Tyone mostly. Shota wasn't the best either. He had a better spring training than Tyone, but he also wasn't at his best, and he really hasn't been for a while. So two concerning points there, the starting pitching. But I mean, other than that, can't really complain. I know they didn't have the greatest record, but once you get into like the fifth inning, it's not really that big of a deal anymore.
Yeah, so some takeaways for me. I didn't like what I saw from the starting pitching. Obviously, it's spring training. Like hitting in 90-degree weather in Arizona is a lot different than 30-degree windy Chicago. So that's definitely going to play a factor for a lot of pitchers. And I remember Madden said something about how spring training, like you don't really know who's a gamer until you get into the regular season. You don't know who your dogs are. I remember Jock Peterson maybe hit 13 home runs spring training, didn't get a hit until 2 weeks into the season, a couple of years ago. So obviously that I thought Ben Brown looked very solid in spring training. I was glad to see that. I thought Matt Shaw looked really good. Two guys that kind of had up and down seasons last year received a lot of criticism. Both had good spring trainings and um, pr- continue to progress. And then I also saw some things I really liked from prospects like Jefferson Rojas, Pedro Ramirez. The list can go on and on. I saw a lot of good stuff, but those two really caught my eye. I mean, Rojas has such a pure swing and some very solid defense up the middle, and Ramirez was hitting bombs left and right and has a very pure swing as well and a solid defense at third base. And those are two top 10 prospects for the Cubs, and I can't wait to see what those two can do in the minors this year and maybe make a push to try and make the roster late in the year.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So now we'll get into the pitching rotation. So Kirk Counsell named it. Obviously, we know this. Matthew Boyd's going to be the opening day starter. And then it seems like game 2 is going to belong to Cade Horton. Game 3, Shota Imanaga. Game 4, Edward Cabrera. And game 5, Jameson Taillon. So personally, I was thinking give Colin Ray that 5 spot. I mean, what's your kind of thoughts on that?
Yeah, so as people that have been watching the show for a little bit know, I was a big Colin Ray guy back last year. But I think kind of the showing that Tyon had in spring training, you gotta make a tough decision. I mean, they've got a really good rotation, right? It's just the fifth spot. If Tyone, I mean, he's obviously a starter, and I think you give it a little bit because you brought up a really good point with 40-degree windy, rainy Chicago. I mean, as we know, as a Cubs fans always know, the first month is always getting rained out. You know, bunch of rain, bunch of snow. So I think you give Tyone a little bit. If he starts to struggle again, I think you got to make the tough decision and put Colin Ray back in the rotation or see how Ben Brown's doing because obviously he's going to the bullpen this year. But yeah, I'll say I'm okay with it, but I think you got to give it a little bit. You let Tyone kind of settle in, and then once Colin Ray and Ben Brown pitch a lot, you make an assessment, for those two to see how they're doing if Tyone is struggling.
Yeah, I would go Tyon on a very short leash. I know it's his last year of his contract, so you're trying to get the most out of him. I'd give him 3 starts if he continues to just get rocked. Say you pull an IL stint, give him the 15-day to reset. Let Colin. It's not like you don't have guys behind him. Is this thing like he's probably not going to be in this rotation in 2 to 3 months when Justin Steele comes back, regardless. So you kind of just got to get solid starts, 5, 6 innings, 2 or 3 runs from that. Whoever's pitching the 5. I understand why they're going to tie him, but I say you got to have him under a short leash. Next thing I want to talk about, Ben Brown made this roster. I would say coming into camp, if you told me Ben Brown was going to be on this team, I would have said you're crazy after the year he had last year. Almost a 6 ERA, was just giving up home run left and right, and then he developed a sinker that looked very solid. And we've been saying it for a while. He needed to develop another pitch. He did, and that did wonders for him. And I feel like he really earned to make this team. But another controversy is Javier Assad was optioned down to AAA. So, what's your kind of opinion on the Brown Assad situation? What you've seen out of Ben Brown?
I mean, again, like we always talked about last year, he had a fastball and a changeup, right? That's little league stuff. Once you get into the big leagues, if you're throwing a fastball and a changeup and guys see one at bat off of you, they're gonna tee off. Like I think there was a game against Kansas City last year where he literally gave up like 9 runs in 3 innings or 9 runs in 3 innings. I mean, I think Salvador Perez hit 2 homers off of him. Like guys who just should not be hitting home runs were hitting balls off the scoreboard. And again, I always bring up our just rant about him when he was there in St. Louis when Craig didn't pull him and he went into like the 6th inning. They lost like 12-3. Um, but again, like as he's developed a sinker, they talked about it a lot on the broadcast. Like he needs another pitch. he's really utilizing the sinker pretty well. He's getting it, he mostly uses it on two strikes to try and get either soft contact or swing and misses. The changeup has been pretty nice against lefties. Um, so I don't hate it, honestly. As much as I just tore him apart last year, I don't hate the move whatsoever. So gonna be interesting to see how he does. I've always been a Ben Brown bullpen guy. Yeah, as you may know, but yeah, I personally don't hate the move. Javier Assad has his goods, has his bads, so does Ben Brown, but yeah, I'm okay with it.
I especially send Assad down after the WBC and how he pitched in that. I feel like it's nice to give him some time to kind of cool off and get a couple starts in Iowa, be their opening day starter. So my next topic is Matt Shaw. So obviously with Seiya Suzuki going down, that filled a spot in the lineup, which I think will go to Matt Shaw. But man, has Matt Shaw killed the ball in the spring. He's played left field, right field, center field, third base, second base. He's played all over. He's been a super utility man while hitting 320 with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 7 stolen bases with a 917 OPS and 50 at bats. So a very solid spring for Matt Shaw. And I think I saw a lot of growth in his spring, in his swing. I know it's just spring training, but I'm very excited for Matt Shaw. Like, what do you think his role is going to be this season until Suzuki comes back at least, and maybe till after that? And what'd you see from Matt Shaw in the spring?
Well, you said it best. He's killing the ball. His defense is always, really good. It's always really consistent. His growth has been, really surprised me how he's been able to hit the ball during the spring. So the youth in his role, it's just so hard to say right now. You know, he was obviously the third baseman last year, but that's Bregman now. So will he play the outfield? Will he get some looks at second while Nico's on the bench? Play short when Dansby's on the bench? I definitely think when Nico and Dansby have an off day, that's Matt Shaw's spot, to take. The outfield too. I really think he can really play anywhere, or mostly, right field, left field, and then shortstop second when Nico and Dansby are on the bench, and then Bregman on the bench. He'll play third, but it's so hard to say right now. And again, if they're struggling at one spot, but they're winning the division by 5 games at the deadline, maybe think about moving him. If you're gonna resign Nico, maybe think about moving him, getting a stud in return. So glad to see he's hitting the ball really well because that was his struggle last year. So yeah, it's really hard to say right now. I'd say give it a month until we can say for sure this is going to be his role for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. Like, it's got to give it time. I know spring training, he looked great. People are happy about that, but you don't know until the regular season. So, I mean, I think he starts in right field against left-handed pitchers for sure. I don't know about versus righties because they might give that to Conforto or Carlson, but I think he's your primary right fielder. And if a guy in the middle infield or the infield needs a day off, I say Shaw hops on that. I think he's just your super utility, getting in the lineup wherever he can, and just being a guy that's tough to pitch against, being in that 9 hole, fouling off balls, getting 9 pitch at bats, like be a tough out in that 9 hole. I know he's got speed, be a second leadoff for the big boys like Bush, Breggy, Happer, Seiya when they come back, and I feel like he's going to make a big impact on this Cubs team, even if people don't necessarily think it right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So our next topic, yesterday, we found out that Michael Conforto would made the team. So Conforto wasn't really signed until start of spring training. No games had definitely gone on by them. By then, excuse me. Conforto, he struggled last year big time with the Dodgers, hitting 199. And I remember my uncle was a Dodgers fan, and he did not have great things to say about Conforto. I mean, he hit 199 with 12 home runs and 418 at bats. He's only 33. He was very solid for the Mets. Left-handed bat, throws right-handed, solid outfielder. He did have a very good spring though, in 37 at bats. He had an average of 324 with no home runs but 5 RBIs and an 873 OPS. Right, what do you think about Conforto making this team, and what do you think his role is going to be at the start of the season?
I don't hate it one bit, honestly. As much as people were like, Ah, he sucks. He sucks. He's terrible. He had one bad season. I mean, 2024, he hit 237 with San Francisco. 2023, he hit 239. 2021, he hit 232. The shortened season, he hit 322. 2019, 257, 243, 279, 220, 270. That was his rookie year with New York. He had one bad year last year. Obviously, that could be the start of the roller coaster going down, obviously, but we don't know that yet, so I don't hate the signing at all. I definitely think he's going to see some playing time, though. I don't think he'll be an everyday guy, but I definitely think once a week, twice a week, he could see, the better matchup or whatever Craig likes more. So, I don't hate it.
Yeah, I totally understand it. I mean, you need a left-handed bat on this bench, especially because you have Shaw righty. Whoever the backup catcher is going to be is righty. So I think I'm totally fine with that. He's been pretty solid. I say he had a good spring. You give him another chance, he earned his way onto this team, and I agree with that. And I think he's going to be a solid platoon guy for this Cubs team.
Yeah.
So with Conforto making it, obviously you're gonna have a Maya Kelly kind of split time depending on who the pitcher is and everything. So whoever's not playing out of them will be on the bench. Michael Conforto is confirmed. Assuming Mo Baller and Matt Shaw are in your opening day lineup, who do those last two bench spots go to? I'll start off on this one. I think that Dylan Carlson is a lock to make this team. I think he's done plenty. He's had a great spring. I think he beat out Chas McCormick and all the other outfielders. I know McCormick is dealing with some right shoulder pain right now, so I doubt we see him on this opening day lineup. But I think Dylan Carlson 100% earned his way onto this team. What do you think about Dylan Carlson?
100%. Like I think he was your like in January your prediction to make the roster. So kudos there. But yeah, like you said, he's really had a really good spring. I said whoever shows, the whoever has the best spring, whoever shows council that they're built for this is going to make the roster. So for Dylan Carlson, he had a really good spring, and I don't think he's going to like sit the bench every day either. He could definitely see a lot of time this year.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to get in the lineup a lot, especially being a switch hitter. He can hit on both sides pretty solidly. I mean, he had a hell of a spring 46 at bats, hit 304 with a home run, 5 RBIs, and an 842 OBS. So I liked what I saw from him a lot. I think he's a lock. So with Alcantara not making the team or Jonathan Long, I assume they're going to take another infielder. The four guys that I have competing for this is top prospect James Triantos, non-roster invite Scott Kingery, non-roster invite Owen Miller, and then Ben Cowles, who they traded to the White Sox last year. He got DFA'd, picked up by the Blue Jays. They DFA'd him. Now he ends up back with the Cubs. Rye, you want to give me a little breakdown on all four of these guys and your prediction on who do you think will get the spot? As I assume we'll know in the next day or two.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's next there too. So yeah, gladly. So James Triantos, he's 23. Was drafted in 2021. He was drafted in the second round, pick number 56. This spring training in 35 ABs, he had 9 hits, a homer, 6 RBIs, 4 stolen bases. He had 257. Last season, he hit 280. He didn't hit a home run though, but he was dealing with some issues. And then yeah, sorry. Second baseman, 5'11". I mean, it's like my height, pretty crazy. But Owen Miller, 29, drafted in 2018. He had in 30 ABs this spring training. He had 8 hits. He didn't have a home run, 6 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. He had 267 last year in just 14 ABs. He had 2 hits, an RBI, a stolen base. He had 143, but only in 14 ABs. And then Scott Kingery, he's 31, another second baseman. In spring training, he had 48 ABs, 10 hits, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, 5 stolen bases. He hit 208. And then Ben Cowles, guy who was just bounced around everywhere. He was with the Yankees, got him in a trade, and then back to the White Sox, back to the Blue Jays, and then back here. But spring training, 22 ABs, 4 hits, didn't have a homer, 3 RBIs, a stolen base. He hit 182. So, for the guy who's going to make the roster, I think it's between two guys. In my opinion, it's between um, Owen Miller and James Triantos. and they're gonna factor in my opinion, Owen Miller being 29 and Triantos being 23. You brought up a good point before we started the show, talking about it's time for Triantos, and I originally said Owen Miller, but when you brought up that point, I think I am gonna have to agree with you. I think it's gonna be James Triantos, just because of you know, homegrown with the Cubs. They drafted him. He spent, all his years since 2021 in the system. He had a pretty solid spring training too. A homer, 9 hits, 6 RBIs, 4 stolen bases. So your point, it's time for him. I think he'll play a lot, just some infield, kind of like with Shaw, like fill in, pinch run, pinch hit in matchup situations. So I like James Triantos for this last roster spot, but again, I think it's between Owen Miller and James Triantos. So, what are your thoughts and adds to that?
So I'd have to disagree with you on the Owen Miller. I think he's probably not going to make this team. I feel like we didn't see enough from him in spring training. Neither do I think Ben Cowles will. So I think it's going to ultimately come down to Triantos and Kingery. Seeing what they did with Alcantara and Conforto, I feel like they're going to give it to Kingery. If I was the Cubs, I would go Triantos. But I think a very good point is you need to see James Triantos and Kevin Alcantara playing every day in AAA, and there's going to be a time when they need to be called up, and they're going to get called up. I feel like they're going to start out the year with Scott Kingery. He's not going to play at all. He's more of just a roster filler, a guy that's going to sit on the bench and do nothing. In 48 at bats, he hit 208 with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 5 stolen bases. So I feel like Kingery is just going to eat up a roster spot and be a pinch runner. That's my opinion. That's who I think they're going to take. I hope they take Triantos, but if I'm thinking like Jed Hoyer and Craig Counsell, I'm taking Scott Kingery.
Like a Vidal Brujan.
So, I mean, that's not even a bad comparison. Like, just a guy to eat up a roster spot and pinch run. He's never going to play. Dansby's going to play every day. Nico's going to play every day, especially now with Breggy at third base. Like, those guys are going to play every day. The only time you'd maybe not see them play is if you put Amaya versus a left-handed pitcher to give Bush a day off, put him at first. Like, he's kind of your backup first baseman with Austin going down. So I could see them doing that.
Yeah.
All right, so it seems like we have a good idea who's going to make the team for the bullpen. Obviously, Palencia is your closer. Who do you give the ball to in seventh and eighth? Because I feel like that's been something that really hasn't been talked about a lot.
Um. Yeah, you're right. It hasn't been talked a lot because it's just been Edward Cabrera and all the talk about Bregman. So obviously the closer Palencia, but Hunter Harvey, Phil Matone, and Caleb Thielbar, I feel like are kind of guys you look at. Ben Brown, in my opinion, is like a fifth, sixth inning. Not really setting up anything. If you're up a couple runs, down a couple runs, Ben Brown just to kind of throw some pitches. But I love Caleb Thielbar. One of the nastiest curveballs in the game. So I think Thielbar, your eighth inning guy, and Phil and Hunter, and potentially even Hobie Milner too, to get the seventh inning. And obviously they can come into on a bullpen day or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking. I would go Phil Maton and Hunter Harvey, whatever matchup you like better, seventh and eighth. I think those are two guys that are trusted, have good velocity, and are two solid pickups. And then I feel like you get mix Caleb Thielbar in there for a lefty-lefty matchup. I know did have kind of a rough spring, but I like the lefty-lefty. He's one of the nastiest curveballs in the game. So now I'm going to share my opening day lineup card if I'm Craig Counsell. So obviously it's Cade Cavalli on the mound for the Nationals. So he's a right-handed pitcher. If I'm Craig Counsell, leadoff and playing first base is Michael Bush, hitting in the 2 hole and playing third base, Alex Bregman, hitting in the 3 hole and playing left field, Ian Happ, hitting fourth and center field, PCA, hitting fifth and at second base, Nico Horner, hitting sixth and catching, Carson Kelly, hitting seventh and DHing, Moises Ballesteros, hitting eighth and playing shortstop, Dansby Swanson, and hitting ninth and playing right field, Matt Shaw. And on the bump, Matty Boyd. Who do you got?
So I think Bush, Bregman, and Hap are gonna be the top three in that order. I wouldn't. hate Carson Kelly hitting cleanup. We saw a little bit of that last year. Didn't really mind it. He can hit like a cleanup hitter, but also hit like a nine hitter at times. Hitting fifth, I have Mo Baller at the DH. Um, PCA hitting sixth in center. Matt Shaw in right at hitting seventh. Hitting eighth. Who am I missing?
Nico.
Oh, Nico, yeah. I think Nico will hit nine, actually. I think Nico will hit nine, and then hitting eighth, Dansby. Did
You
I
like
say
Nico in
Dansby?
that? You like Nico in that 9 hole as like a second leadoff guy.
Second leadoff, yeah. I mean, I know he can hit two, but he can also hit nine. I think the nine hole's starting to become a second leadoff, so I don't think it'll be like an everyday thing, but wouldn't mind a contact hitter, a speedy guy at the nine hole. I mean, again, like I said, it's really becoming the second leadoff hitter, the guy to turn the lineup over. So I think Nico can get some looks at the nine spot, but then also he might even lead off a lot this year too.
Yeah, I mean, I personally have Horner in my 5 to 7 range, but and Matt Shaw or Conforto is my 9, but I don't hate that. So now let's get into MLB Pickle Rye. Who do you give me? I feel like there's only one right answer right now.
PCA.
Yeah, let's do it. Pete Crow-Armstrong. And the NL lefty lefty. Ooh, let's think lefty lefty. I'm gonna go Brett Beatty. I know he's a righty lefty. Just get the division team. NL East lefty lefty. Ooh, Owen Casey.
That's right.
He's a lefty righty, but still didn't get the team. Philly lefty lefty. Um,
Just guess Harper to try and get the team. Or is he on Philly?
oh, Luzardo. I know Luzardo's a lefty lefty pitcher on them. Phillies lefty lefty
Yeah.
starting pitcher. Christopher Sanchez.
Yeah. Try or
Well,
what country?
Christopher
Oh, it
Sanchez
is. Okay.
is your MLB pickle player of the day. Now let's play some immaculate grid. First, we got Houston and Twins. I could go Christian Vasquez for that. Vasquez.
Twins fit. Oh, shortstop.
There's Christian Vasquez. I don't know why it's not Pat. No. Twins and Phillies. Jim Tomei.
There we go.
Ooh, shortstop for the Twins.
Pick and choose.
Yeah. All right. Who do you want to go with?
Let's go with what's his name? Who the hell did we get the deadline last year?
Willie Willie Castro.
Yeah. Willie Castro. Couldn't think of his name.
Yeah. Texas and Astros. Um, did Chapman ever play for the Astros? I feel like he did not.
No, he didn't.
Oh, why am I blanking on this? I feel like there's like an obvious answer. We'll skip that for now.
Yeah.
Texas and Philly. All
I'm
right.
thinking like 2010s.
Other Texas shortstop Corey Seager. We could do 6 WAR shortstop Bobby Witt Jr.
There we go.
Phillies 6 WAR season Bryce Harper.
And then
Harper wasn't
Astros.
6 WAR. Ooh. Phillies 6 WAR.
I went Altuve for Astros 6 WAR.
Who do you have for Phillies 6 WAR?
Phillies 6 WAR. Did Harper
No, I don't
work?
think he did. No. Real
Uh,
Muto, maybe?
Schwarber.
Yeah, I'll try Shorbs. I feel like he had to.
Yeah,
Schwarber did not. JT Realmuto?
try that.
Yep, JT Realmuto did.
Okay.
All right, Phillies, and we got to get this L here. All right, Astros and Twins. I know it's Christian Vasquez. I don't know why my game isn't. Oh, well, I'll just count that for now. Christian Vasquez, because I know he played for both of them.
Astros Rangers.
Ooh, the Texas teams. Jeff Bag. Well, Jeff Bagwell, I want to say no. Oh, shoot. I don't need to see who the most. I don't want to keep you guys here all night. Most common answers for Astros and Twins was Nolan Ryan, and then Phillies and Rangers. Or no, excuse me. Astros and Rangers was Nolan Ryan.
That's
Phillies,
not us. That's an easy one.
Phillies and Rangers was Cole Hamels. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. Expect another episode on Wednesday, and super excited for opening day. Signing off, Ryan Dunleavy.
Ron Zielinski.
See you guys next episode.